All right, what's up, Cyclone Nation? Welcome to tonight's halftime show with former Iowa State head coach, or not head coach, quarterback. Basically, he was basically a head coach back then, too.
Yeah, right.
No disrespect to Danny Mack. He is Bret Meyer. I'm Chris Williams here. Real quick, thank you to our sponsors. I actually had a great day, Brett. My wife took the kids up to Ames, and I did some experimental smoking of some ribs from Fareway today. I made them like super spicy, which was awesome. So shout out to Fareway. They got the best meat selection in Iowa. Centurion Stone of Iowa, phenomenal supporters of what we do. They'll make your house look better inside and out. I can promise you. Go check them out. CenturionStoneofIowa.com. And of course, Nebraska Furniture Mart in Clive. They've been a great sponsor of what we do. Go, you guys need better TVs. I'm telling you, the football's been great. Go get a better TV. Check them out at Nebraska Furniture Mart in Clive. Okay. First of all, Brett, Darth Vader wants to know, he just saw you take a sip. What are you drinking? What are you sipping on right there?
It's Cody Road, man.
It's
Cody Road old fashioned. So
That's
it's
good.
like instead of having to actually make it, it's already pre-made. It's really good, actually.
I've actually been doing their Manhattans a lot. I like the Manhattan
Yeah.
one. You should try that one if you haven't already. All right.
Yeah.
Halftime, Oklahoma 17-13 over Iowa State, Brett. It took the Cyclones a while. Here's some quick analysis, and I want to bounce it off of you. It seemed like we'll get to the offense momentarily, but defensively, I don't know. I kind of felt a little feeling out session there with John Haycock, and then he ratcheted up the pressure there on about the third possession. Oklahoma still got a touchdown, but you could see he was changing his game plan a little bit, and it looks like whatever adjustments he was making were starting to work there at the end of the first half against a really talented offense. What have you seen from Iowa State defensively?
Yeah, I would agree. I think, obviously the first possession, I think we gave up about a 55-yard pass to set up their first score. And then, we held them on the goal line, which is big. And then second possession, they had another big play. And it seems like Rattler's pretty good, for a young quarterback in the pocket. He's able to extend plays. And, somebody like that, you just got to put pressure on him and make him have to make quick decisions. And you can definitely see they were doing that. But we're going to have to be disciplined when we do bring pressure, because he, as you've seen in some of these plays, he's able to extend, he's able to get outside the pocket, he's able to run a little bit. He's a good young player, and we got to be disciplined. But you can definitely see the adjustment in trying to make him make those quicker decisions.
Yeah, when he does that, I mean, we saw it last week against Kansas State too. That's when he starts to kind of turn the football over. I'll be interested to see what happens defensively with the adjustments. Okay, let's go quick hits here before we get to more specifics. Iowa State on the offensive side of the ball. They've been pretty efficient, Brett. Iowa State's averaging 7.6 yards per play. I think if you blindly were watching this game, you would think that Oklahoma is vastly outgaining the Cyclones. It's really not the case. It's 276 to 213. Iowa State's moved the ball pretty well, but it's been of the big play variety, right? 3.3 yards per carry for Breece Hall. Brock's only 7 for 15. But that's the one note I would have. It as good as the offensive line was last week, I don't think they're playing poorly tonight, but they're definitely up against a different type of unit with what Oklahoma's bringing up front.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that you see on film, and you've seen it, is Oklahoma's they're fast. They're probably going to be the fastest defense we see. Maybe, I don't know if Texas has their normal Texas speed. But Oklahoma's going to be faster than TCU. And we're seeing that there has been a lot of penetration. Breece Hall on that 3rd and 6 going after the penalty, going in on our last score, made a great play. I mean, I know it was an outside zone, but there was penetration. 2 or 3 OU defenders in there, and Breece just made a great run. So, and Brock's been under pressure. There's been, defensive line is definitely getting after us up front. And I think we need to do a better job of. Again, last week we kind of came out in the second half and had a more consistent run game, and that's what really allowed us to kind of be balanced and win that game. We need that in the second half.
Breece looks pretty special, though. He's reminded me tonight a couple runs like David Montgomery, where it's just like, okay, that should have been like a 2-yard loss, and he's turned it into like a 6-yard gain. I mean, he's got 39 yards, and most of those yards, Brett, would you agree? I mean, it's been him with some crazy individual efforts.
100%. Yeah, he's really starting to kind of buck his head and show that he's a special player. I mean, obviously you saw the second half of last year he came on, had a great week last week, but we're lucky to have him. He's a really good player, and he's earning it tonight. I mean, there's nothing easy. There's been very few very few running lanes, up the middle, outside, anything really. He's had to earn it. They've been a lot of penetration, a lot of guys in the backfield. So that's something, again, that we're going to have to figure out for the second half. But yeah, he's having a great game.
Iowa State will get the ball to start in the third quarter, so that's encouraging. Only down 4. I mean, theoretically, Iowa State could take a lead here. What is your what's your impression of Rattler though after watching him up close like this for a half? Because I'm super impressed. I thought he was good last week. I never thought like, oh, this guy's gonna come into. I thought that Iowa State had an opportunity to get to him, no doubt, but pretty good football player right there. I'm impressed of where he is for game number 3.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing with him is he doesn't have the benefit of just a dynamic run game that even like the Baker Mayfields and Kyler Murray's have had. They've always been able to run the ball. They're not running the ball at all this year, and he's still been pretty effective. So, yeah, I'm super impressed with him. Just a natural passer, just somebody who jumps off the page when you see him throw the ball, and you can see he's elusive, and he's only playing. This is his 3rd game. You know, he's a freshman, so he's only going to get better. And we're probably lucky that we're catching him early in the season before he really figures it out. But yeah, you know, Lincoln Riley calling plays and somebody like him under center. You know, that's a pretty good combination.
You've been watching football all day too, I assume, like I have. Man, there's been a lot of penalties today in the Big 12. That TCU Texas game was a wild one. It
yeah,
like, I don't know. There's just a lot of laundry on the field tonight.
Yeah, too many penalties, too many, you know, reviews, and things are just taking too long. But one thing about, and they mentioned this in some of the NFL games, is like they've been told to really just call it if it's obvious. And there was some stat I saw, and it was something like holding penalties were down like 50% or something like that. And that's where, in my opinion, the way it should be in college, because again, you know, it's obviously college, you know, hasn't got that memo yet, but in the NFL they're calling less penalties, and it needs to be. That's the way it should be in college too, especially with Big 12. There's going to be, you know, teams are going to be throwing the ball over the field. There's going to be a lot of opportunities, but it's a different year. I think we should call it differently and just kind of let them play more. I would agree.
What do you want to see specifically from Iowa State's offense here in the second half? Because they're going to have to get more, you know, touchdowns instead of field goals. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know, Bret, you're more seasoned with this than me, but I kind of feel like stay the course and good things are going to happen. I don't think that they need to do a lot of drastic changes. I mean, you know, I think some things will fall for them if they keep it up. What do you, if you're Tom Manning right now meeting with Matt Campbell, what are you talking about? I'm
just trying to figure out, you know, whether it's, you know, how many different run plays do we have and, you know, formations do we feel like we can run out of? Because we're going to need to run the ball to be successful. They're doing a pretty good job of covering everybody. I don't know that we've had too many guys that have really been wide open outside of maybe some, you know, some scramble plays, and they're putting pressure on Brock. So we're going to have to be able to come out and run the ball. Charlie Cole has been a difference maker. I know he's only got a couple catches for, I think, 43 yards, it says there on the ticker, but, you know, you can tell that they're having to defend us differently because he's on the field. So get Charlie involved more, obviously, and receivers are going to have to step up and make some big plays. But I just think we're going to have to run the ball. I mean, Brees is a special player. Got to figure out a way to get him the ball and get him some space and for him to make some plays.
Almost feels, too, like Iowa State's going to need to force a turnover at some point and capitalize off it.
Yeah, I mean, Rattler, I think he had 3 picks in the second half, and they didn't score on their last something like 5 possessions against Kansas State. So hopefully we can kind of have that same fourth quarter effectiveness on defense, you know, and force them into some turnovers. And yeah, it's only obviously going to help our chances.
One note that I took defensively there in the first half, I think it was after the first 3 Oklahoma possessions, Iowa State's 5 leading tacklers were all members of the secondary, that's not good, right? Now, you know, to clean it up, Rose is up there with 3, Hummel has 3, and Bailey has 5 of the last few possessions there for Oklahoma. So to me, you know, whatever they're doing defensively and schematically was working, but now you have the chess piece, and this is what I love about football, and this is what I love specifically about this matchup so much. One, I think you have the Big 12's best offensive line going up against the Big 12's best defensive line, and I think you have the best offensive mind in the Big 12 in Lincoln Riley going toe-to-toe with the best defensive mind in John Haycock. So I'm fired up. I mean, I'm nervous because it's the Clones, but the football junkie in me is fascinated to see what happens here out of the halftime.
Yeah, spot on there about the two coaches, and just the X's and O's, and just the chess match and seeing who can figure who out first. And it's going to come down to, as it always does, who's going to make the best adjustments. And I like our defense. I like the fact that we can be patient at times, and when we are patient, we just have to make sure that we don't let Spencer Rattler get out and run, because if we drop 8 and there's nobody open, he's been able to extend plays, and it's just going to be about getting those, bringing pressure at the right time and getting home and making them pay on those, second and third downs. I think we'll be okay.
Honestly, too, it's there's nothing more demoralizing just when you're watching the game as a fan, when it's like 3rd and 9 and you break the play, and then Rattler scrambles for 11 garbage yards. Like it's a dagger. I will say this, because we've had a lot of people writing into us that they are watching from Jack Trice Stadium tonight. Bret, I think they're making a difference. It seems dramatically different to me, with 15,000 people in there compared to that first game. And it really doesn't, it doesn't seem that weird watching this football game. Do you?
No, I would agree. I think, playing in front of no fans, I can't begin to imagine. That would feel like a practice. It'd feel like a spring practice, but I would imagine is probably a big boost for guys on both teams, just to be able to have some people in the stands and kind of feel the energy. And 25,000 can make a little bit of noise, and I would imagine that it is a big difference and a big boost for both teams.
All right, we want to thank our friends from Fareway, from Centurion Stone, and also from Nebraska Furniture Mart for bringing us our halftime show here on all the Cyclone Fanatic social media platforms. Of course, we're going to have post-game with Jared Stansberry and Rob Gray from the press box at Jack Trice Stadium, and that will be coming up around 2 hours after the game. We're going to try and move it up a little bit more tonight since it's going to be so late. Stay tuned to the Cyclone Fanatic Twitter feed, and those guys will keep you updated. But they'll have injury reports, post-game commentary from the head coach, and all that good stuff. We'll be up working late for full coverage. Bret, thank you. Appreciate your insight as always. And it's 17-13 halftime at Jack Trice Stadium, and let's hope that Iowa State can pull one off here. For Bret Meyer, my name's Chris Williams, Matt Van Winkle producing tonight's halftime show. Thanks for watching, guys. Go State.